What if I told you that one of Jehovah's Witnesses' core teachings is based entirely on assumption, not on solid scripture, not on clear evidence, just a chain of educated guesses, and one very big leap? Jehovah's Witnesses teach that Jesus and Michael the Archangel are the same being. Their own article says Michael is evidently Michael is evidently a name given to Jesus before and after his life on earth, evidently. So let that sink in, evidently. Not clearly, not proven, but evidently. Their main reasoning goes like this. Michael is called the Archangel, singular, in Jude 9. And Jesus comes down with an archangel's voice in 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. Michael leads angels into battle. Jesus also commands angels. Therefore, Jesus must be Michael. But is that sound reasoning? Let's take a look at this further. Let's read Jude 9 from the New World Translation. And it says there, "But when Michael, the archangel, had a difference with the devil and was disputing about Moses' body, he did not dare bring a judgment against him in abusive terms, but said, 'May Jehovah rebuke you.'" So let's pause here. If Michael is Jesus, why wouldn't he just rebuke Satan directly? Jesus did exactly that during his temptation. He said in Matthew 4 and 10 in the New World Translation, "Go away, Satan, for it is written." So clearly, Jesus had the authority to rebuke the devil, but Michael didn't. So what gives? The entire theory rests on assumptions that there's only one archangel, that having authority over angels means they're the same person, that similar roles mean identical identities. Similarity does not equal identity. It's the same flawed logic used in their 1914 teaching. They assumed Christ returned invisibly. They assumed the Gentile times ended in 1914, but none of that directly is stated in the Bible. And now, more than 100 years later, those predictions still have not come true. Michael is clearly described as an archangel, a messenger, a mighty one, yes, but still a created being. In fact, Hebrews 1 and 5 makes a key point about angels and Jesus. And it says in Hebrews 1 and 5 in the New World Translation, "For example, to which one of the angels did God ever say, 'You are my son. Today I have become your father, and again I will become his father, and he will become my son.'" So that's a rhetorical question. The answer is none of them. You want to take a look at that again? For example, to which of the angels did God ever say, "You are my son"? None of them. Well, let's take this even further. Hebrews 1 and verse 13. And this is again from the New World's Translation. And it says, "But about which one of the angels has he ever said, 'Sit at my right hand until I place your enemies as a stool for your feet'?" Again, the answer is none. Jesus is superior to the angels. He's not just one of them. He sits at the right hand of God. None of the other angels do. So here's the thing, folks. If you get Jesus wrong, you get the gospel wrong. That's why this matters. He's not just a chief messenger or a spiritual commander. He's the Word, the only begotten Son, the image of the invisible God, not an archangel. So let's not build a belief system on evidently. because truth doesn't need guesses, and truth doesn't need to be assumed. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Jesus. And this problem's very rarely mentioned. Michael is always portrayed as a warrior, leading battles, commanding angelic armies, and defeating Satan in war. But Jesus, he refused the sword. And when Peter tried to defend him, Jesus says in Matthew 26 and 52, New World Translation, he says, "Return your sword to its place, for all those who take up the sword will perish by the sword." So why do Jehovah's Witnesses paint Jesus in heaven with a sword in his hand? He wasn't a warrior. You see, Jesus didn't come to fight flesh and blood, and he didn't ride into battle with weapons. He rode into Jerusalem on a donkey, not a war horse. And he even said in John 18 and 36, New World Translation, "My kingdom is no part of this world. And if my kingdom were part of this world, my attendants would have fought." But they didn't, because Jesus didn't lead armies. He led by love, not by force. So, how does a non-violent servant king suddenly become a cosmic general? He doesn't. This isn't a biblical transformation. It's a doctrinal invention built on assumption. So, folks, if you're waking up, you're not alone. Test everything, read the scriptures for yourself, and remember, live your life with love and truth, because that's what Jesus did.